Ladies and gentlemen, what's good, y'all? It's the Chillmeister Chris Gary, and this is yet again another special edition of Focus Fights Audio, or really Focus Fights Video, really. As my guest needs no introduction, but fuck it, I'll give him one anyways. He's 6'2", 170 pounds, 74-inch reach, 38 years of age, representing the 4-ounce Fight Club in Houston, Texas, with a combined combat sports record of 4 wins and 3 losses. I don't care what the so-called experts and actual fight experts say. He is a 2-2 UFC veteran, not 1-2-1. But still, though, enough about all that. He'll be fighting the so-called Croatian sensation, the right-wing MAGA nut, whose who's who may or may not have been a part of January 6th. Let's be real. Pat Miletich on October 14th at Caged Aggression 36 Bad Blood in Davenport, Iowa. Unfortunately, his opponent's hometown. This is the man who's been putting over Houston MMA for about as long as I've been a fan of MMA or a fan of combat sports in general. This is Mike the Truth Jackson. How are you? Turn your camera on so I can see you.
Camera on?
I can see a photo of you, but I can't actually see you, you know?
Oh, you got me on over here. I do.
I see. But other than that, man, I just want to ask.
Well, real quick, let me clear some stuff. You said we no longer 4-ounce. That's an old gym. We're now in Main Street boxing, and we're 7-3, man. We got what 4-0 in boxing, 1-1 in kickboxing, Muay Thai, and then 2-2 in MMA. So we 7-3.
Yeah, 2-2 in MMA, 2-2 in mixed martial arts, despite what the Illinois State Athletic Commission says. Because let's face it, weed is illegal there now. They shouldn't have overturned that shit.
Yeah, that was actually a wild one in itself, man. Wait, did my video pop up yet?
No, I don't see you. All I see is a blank screen, but I can hear you though.
Which is weird. I don't know why it's doing that.
Oh, there it is. Yeah,
cool. Yeah, even that, like the thing we talked about before, like people are under the impression like that I was smoking the day of. Illinois, for whatever reason, has a 0 tolerance. So I actually stopped smoking like a month before the fight. But for whatever reason, a month later, I still had trace amounts. I have picogram amounts of weed and THC. And so that's what it is. But I don't like that doesn't bother me because for me, I know what I'm doing in this sport and it doesn't impact me or what I've done at all. So I don't dwell on that.
Now, as far as the weed thing goes, was that late into your training camp? Because I know you had like an 8-week training camp to prepare.
Well, what happened was I no one knew like because we're all under the impression it was gonna just be like you saw the rules. Well, Jeff Nowitzki sent it as an email like it was like a month out. It was like, hey, just letting y'all know that Illinois has like a 0 tolerance policy. We're like, wait, what? Like again, this is a month out. So could he have said this sooner? Sure, I don't know, but maybe he had just found out then. But like I said, I stopped whenever they sent the email. But THC lingers a little bit, and that's what they got me for. But like I said, it doesn't bother me by any means.
I see. Understood. But going on to this fight now with Pat Miletich, I would ask what led to this fight, but let's just face it. We both know what led to this fight. Basically, all the right-wing MAGA nut fighters, including Jake Shields, were just talking shit about you. And basically, one thing led to another. And now this fight has happened instead of you versus Jake Shields. So, what transpired?
Well, there's a few things. The Pat thing happened Essentially, like the dude is like drunk texting me at like 12, 1 in the morning, telling me he wants to fight, and he gonna knock me out and all these things. I'm essentially telling him like, bro, go to sleep. Like you old, it's past your bedtime. He kind of like keeps egging it on. I'm still kind of being dismissive, but then he reaches out, to Mike with Cage Aggression and those guys, and they're like, nah, we really gonna we want a headline y'all on the show. We'll make it a pay-per-view, and we'll get y'all paid. And I was like, oh well, if I get paid for this, that changes the dynamic of everything. And took a little bit of negotiation, going back and forth for a few months, and we made it happen. And we're less than 2 weeks away now, and I'm although I feel fighting is stupid, all of it at every aspect. I'm really excited about this. I mean, I do stupid shit all the time. So for me,
Hmm.
this is I'm just really excited for outside of just the fight itself. I mean, I love fighting, but for me, this means much more. Just given the backstory, given the personalities involved, and I'm ready. I'm excited to put on a show.
I see. And you're not gonna be even the least bit surprised at the fact that Miletich is, oh, I don't know, a former UFC Hall of Famer, former UFC middleweight champion, innovator of his own fighting system, yada yada yada. It's just the fact that you're basically going into his backyard with all his so-called fans.
Yeah, it's cool. Like, yeah, he has the he's a former, he was the first UFC welterweight champion. He's a pioneer of the sport. He's in the UFC Hall of Fame. He has his own fighting systems, but I mean, he's 57 years old. There's limitations just physically of what he can do. I respect his abilities, from as a former champion and all of his accolades. I respect it 100%, because I'm a fighter. I'm a martial artist myself. But make no mistake about it, he's a piece of shit of a person, and he's not 30 years old. He's not. I know I'm 38. He's not like I'm fighting 38-year-old Pat Miletich, fighting 57-year-old Pat Miletich, and he tells me for me, I'm expecting UFC champion Pat Miletich. On his side, he's expecting the best Mike Jackson. It's just so which one gets to win this chess match.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. Miletich hasn't had a fight in almost 15 years. I
Right.
mean, he hasn't had a fight in almost 15 years. He hasn't lost a fight in almost 17 years. Well, unless you count the Michael Nunn fight that happened in the midst of the pandemic, which didn't really count because, let's face it, it was an old boxer versus an old mixed martial artist.
Yeah,
That
he
fight
did
was.
the he did the kickboxing thing with Michael Nunn. He's his mind, he's fighting for a cause. But in actuality, he knows nothing else but fighting, which is why he's here. Which is why he's having the spectacles of a fight, whether it be for a charity or you know for his own, because he's in a position right now where he needs his money. He's fighting for a check in this instance. But he's bitten off way more than he can chew in this respect. This is not going to be essentially a friendly sparring match like it was with Michael Nunn. This is much different than that, and he's going to understand that he's no longer the pioneer. He's no longer this UFC champion, Pat Miletich. He's a relic of the past, and we're going to see that come October 14th.
Hmm, understood. And when it comes down to this fight, I did mention that you had some animosity with Jake Shields leading back to an incident that happened at the Performance Institute, I think last year. I mean, do you think that there will ever be peace between y'all unless you
No,
want to mention?
actually, it goes back further than that.
Oh,
Even how that even came about. It goes back to he said some white. He's a Nazi, bro. So he said some
true.
white Nazi shit on Twitter. I kind of checked him for it, And then he got in his feelings. And then he's like, yo, let's fight. And I was like, bro, I'm not trying to fight you. And he's like, nah, we need to fight. And I was like, fine, let's fight. Here are the terms. The terms were like, keep coming to Houston, meet at a gym, we put some fucking 10-ounce gloves on, and we bang it out.
Mm-hmm.
He although he says he agreed to it, he never showed up. Find out like I'm in Vegas, following a fight. I'm recovering from surgery. I'm trying to get really just getting a cool little workout in with a trainer and some bag work. And the dude jumps me from behind with his little cronies.
Mm-hmm.
He got a little Nazi gang with him, and he passes this off as like it was mutual combat. It wasn't mutual combat. The dude jumped me from behind, which is a coward's move. Like the dude is not a martial artist. He's a piece of shit thug, is what he is. So now he has a warrant out for his arrest, so he's running from the cops at the moment. Um, but no, even after that, following all of this, I still have every intention to fight Jake Shields. I gave him the terms, and here's the terms. I got it from the idea of this Miletich fight of monetizing it. For him, he wants to like essentially stream this on his Twitter feed so he can make some money. But I was like, no, I get that you want to make money. Fine. Here's my terms. Still same thing. We box. We got some 10-ounce gloves on. We do pride rules, 10-minute first round. Every round after that, 5 minutes. There's a no round limit. We go until someone gets knocked out or until someone quits. I told him we're going to do an online stream, pay-per-view. We'll split the profits, 60 for the winner, 40 for the loser. And again, he's already agreed to box me. Let's put that's a real thing. But then he comes back again after he's agreed to box me. He's like, nah, you're a pussy. You're a bitch. I want to fight you bare knuckle UFC 1 rules. And I was like, bro, like, no, like we're not doing like these are my terms. But it doesn't matter. We're either gonna fight on the terms I said that he already agreed to, or we're gonna fight in the courtroom. Either way, I'm about to bust his ass. So it is what it is. But if I'm being honest, like the court's gonna be cool with it. I'm really gonna be happy about taking a lot of money from him. On a criminal side, he's gonna get fucked, and then civilly, I'm about to fuck him really nice. But I really want to punch this dude in the face, which is why I extend the offer. Like he keeps saying I'm scared of him. Like no one's scared of Jake Shields. He's a pussy. He's a coward himself. So once the cops gonna pick him up, he gonna be really because he already in his feelings right now. But the cops gonna pick him up. He really gonna be in his feelings. We gotta go to Vegas to see him in trial. That's gonna be a fucking spectacle in itself. And then we're gonna try to set something up. Hopefully he's not too much of a pussy and a coward. But more than likely he'll never fight me because again, he's a pussy and a coward.
Indeed, but then again, you also realize the motherfucker can't knock his way out of a wet paper bag.
Bro, said he's a champion and he's a former champion. He has all these accolades and fine. And even he tried to even at the PI, like he was trying to hit me while I was standing. I was like, bro, stop playing. Like he's throwing punches and I kind of like parried his punch. I was like, dude, what are you doing right here? But again, like I'm not going to bare knuckle fight or get in an MMA fight with the world champion Jake Shields. Like that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't do anything. But again, he's already agreed to box me. If he's so much better than I am, then boxing should be part of the game. Whatever, you should be better. You should whoop my ass in boxing too if you're so good. So we're waiting to see if he look at it. He got the DM. I know he likes to show out on the public space for his little minions, his little Nazi minions. Cool. I don't give a shit. That doesn't bother me. But I reached out to him, direct message. Like, look, you're a piece of shit. You whitewashing facts. But despite all of that, here's an offer for you. You say you want to make some money. Here's an opportunity to make some money. I was actually trying to get us to box on the Jake Shield or the Jake Paul.
Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz.
I reached out to my manager and I was like, yo, let's try to set this up because, he was going to be out there. Nate's his man, Nick's or whatever, one of Diaz brothers' his man. My manager came back. Was like, bro, no one wants to fuck with him. So I'll promote it myself. Mighty Truth Entertainment. Like I said, we'll do an online pay-per-view live stream. Charge somebody I know his fans want to see him whoop my ass or whatever. Cool. Y'all buy in. I'm gonna fuck this dude up, and then we get paid.
I see. And you know what? Come to think of it, you say an online pay-per-view under your platform. I mean, I would ask, why not get the folks over at Rap-A-Lot and Jay Prince to help out? But I don't think they would want to do mixed martial arts, right?
Well, it's boxing, so it's none of that. Look,
Oh,
I'm a promoter. I do my own promotion. I don't need all of that. The fight is it sells itself. Like there's already history. Like I said, he has his fans, and then I can reach out to who I got to reach out to make it bigger. But in itself, I can do the promotion on my own. Like I don't need all of that. Again, I just even if nobody, I don't give a fuck. I'm not. I never want to make money off of it. Making the money be the cool part.
mm-hmm.
The main focus for me is just busting this dude's ass. That's it. Being a
I
coward
see.
pussy. That's it.
I see. And you know what? Come to think of it, that basically reminds me of the fact that when it comes down to at least not just fight sports, but actual media in the Houston area, there's only a few people, especially in the fight world, that do it. I mean, I can't really say that I am a part of that media myself, but then again, there's a bunch of people that do fight media in Houston, and there's not really that many platforms to showcase. I mean, like you can be on Fury FC on the Fight Pass, but then again, where's the actual
I
word
don't
of
do
mouth?
with that. I don't deal with. We not worried about them either. I'm telling you, we don't fuck them and fuck what they doing. It's about what I'm doing right now. Like I said, we gonna do it against this fucking coward Nazi Jake Shields. I'm promoting it.
But aside from that, like I was trying to ask, there's not really that many platforms out there to showcase yourself as far as fight sports go. There's no radio shows, there's no TV shows, there's barely even any blogs like yourself and myself. But and I asked Raheel Ramzanali of Fury FC if a fight show, if a fight show on the radio or television could work in this market, and he basically said no because there's so many sports going on. But I have to ask you, as a black man and as a person of color, do you feel that when it comes down to platforms that showcase sports in this area or fight sports in this area, do you feel that shit like this could work?
Man, it's difficult to say right now. We're there's been a shift in the culture. We're living in a different time where you have combat sports isn't what it was, five or not five, like 10 years ago, when guys like myself were big in the video and audio podcast space. Guys like the CageDoor.net.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of combat sports at the moment is a lot of MAGA right wing Nazis, in this space. And so I honestly feel that it's difficult to get a solid a any kind of entertainment or production off the ground. Like it would take it would have to be a great connection with someone, but then again, you're gonna have to. It can't be just about fighting. Just given what fighting is currently, it couldn't be about that. So, if I'm being honest, I don't think it really does well. Like, I mean, for me, I've kind of gotten out of space myself. Like, I don't really do the video content anymore. I got away from the podcast. It's just it's a difficult space to be in if you're not really affiliated with the UFC. If you're affiliated with the UFC, they have, I mean, they got that Endeavor money, and it's easy to sort of to make things happen in that respect. But outside of that, it's very difficult, and I think it's more of a waste of money. Yeah, I've been in fighting for 15 years. I've seen a lot. Particularly, I've been in fighting from the business side as well as the fighting side for 15 years. So I understand what kind of goes into this sport, what goes into the industry, and given where culture is right now, I think it would be a waste of time to try to do anything like that.
Mm.
A fight specific show at a local level.
And you know what? I can understand that, but then again, it would also transfer over to just doing regular sports as a person of color. Like, for instance, when it comes down to the local radio stations, 610, 97.5, 790, I think I can count on one hand how many black folks or how many women there are on those platforms. I mean, for instance, I just seen Like there was a really popular show on Sunday mornings on 97.5 that I used to enjoy that featured two beautiful women that were, just being badasses, and they ended up getting scrapped because one of them complained about sexual harassment, which unfortunately is rampant in the business, not
Yeah,
just in radio, but in business in general.
yeah, for
I
sure.
mean,
It's
it
unfortunate,
just
but we live in, like I said, we live in a crazy space right now. Crazy time. But I mean, given how the fight that I have coming up right now is the fact that you have someone who all he knows is fighting, but at the same time, like he's this QAnon MAGA fucking doof,
mm,
and he fucked himself essentially, and there's no accountability with these types of people, and so he wants to fight me. And I'm like, all right, well, if you want to fight, then we're gonna fight.
mm, I see. And again, we live in a society where everybody has a platform. We live in a society where a dumbass guy from Dallas with Nazi ties can follow a WNBA player around in an airport and just harass them like it ain't no thing, knowing that it scares the shit out of them because of what they previously went through months earlier on foreign soil.
Right.
It just sucks that some of these guys are just doing this shit without no consequence for plenty of clout just to basically say, oh, I'm trolling you. I'm owning libs. Like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? Are
It's
they just
people
that immune
people
to an ass whooping?
no, the people crave attention. Like attention is like a drug, and people like this notoriety, this fame thing is it's essentially a drug. And like these people, when you're a nobody, right, and you're in your world, and then you're given an opportunity to be a somebody who people can follow and listen to your opinion, like you get off on that. And so again, like the things right now on Twitter, like how Elon has turned this shit into like a Nazi cesspool, where people just
Mm-hmm.
like people with blue checks, but they say reckless shit just for attention, whether they
Mm-hmm.
mean it or not. But there's a whether you mean it or not from the author is irrelevant. You have a lot of people on that feed who do relate to it, who think has this shitty opinion, and they this dude has the same opinion as mine, and they want to spread it. It's like all this shit is like a cancer. It's a virus, and it's just eating everybody up. We live, like I said, we live in some crazy times right now.
I see, but on the reversal of that, let's just say fuck Elon Musk because he's turning Twitter into a cesspool, and I don't want to call it the other name because he done fucked the platform completely up. But let's just say this. What if you were to meet up with some right-minded individuals, not right-minded as in the political sense, I'm talking right-minded in the future sense, people who actually want to do for good, that actually want to make people feel like they mean something, like not have to deal with the Nazi bullshit. Like, what if you were to go do a platform where people would actually feel respected, you know?
I mean, there's a platform right now called Spill, which is created by black individuals. I'm on there as well. I mean, it's kind of like the same system in the UFC, right? Where you have this platform, this brand who is just it's large, given the space, right? And it's difficult to knock that platform off. Like Twitter is what it is. Like people can say they're going to leave Twitter until they leave Twitter, but no one's really leaving Twitter. And it's just given what the platform is. Even when Spill comes around, people was jumping on Spill, getting invite codes, getting on there, and it kind of like dies down a little bit because people go back to Twitter because of what it is. It's a difficult time right now for a lot of things. A lot of people just given where individuals' minds are. Right, we have culture is divided right now between races and anti-races, and that's a
Mm.
huge divide. And until we mitigate the damage that's been done by the MAGA and the QAnon individuals, from a political standpoint, it's going to be difficult to change the landscape.
I mean, kind of think of it. It's like your T-shirt is saying. People want to create the new Black Wall Street. They're just afraid of how to make change off of it.
No, it's not even that. Like we were trying to create it, but then you have white people filing lawsuits and saying, "Yo, like they're discriminating against white people." You know,
Yeah.
and it's just it's wild. Like we're in crazy times. We're reverting back to the mid 20th century, like 1960s and 50s.
Hmm.
But again, it's all from the top down. You know, we have to uh, interject ourselves into the political spectrum and make change that way. We have to make real change for this to trickle down. That again, that's how this MAGA shit took off. Was because Donald Trump he became president. He interjected this fuckery white nationalism into the presidency in the 21st century, and it trickled down. This is a virus. So essentially, the same thing has to happen from the top down. Trying to fight this from the bottom up is extremely difficult. This needs to be fought from the top down, and until that's and that's in itself is difficult just given the barriers that are in place right now. But until those barriers are broken down, we're in a long fight ahead of us.
Of course. I mean, come to think of it, we need to be more badass centric when it comes down to how we, handle our business. We need to actually, try and no, not try, fuck trying. We need to actually go out and do some of the yeoman's work just to make people realize some of the shit that people are doing is wrong. You know, we may not be able to, fix everything wrong with this fucking society, but we may need to fix some of the things that need to be discussed about, especially with an election coming up and old dumbass Donald basically saying, "Oh, if I get elected president again, I'm going to basically turn this shit into a dictatorship." Like, seriously, this motherfucker legitimately wants to be a fucking dictator, like
It's
Putin and
ego.
Kim Jong
It's
Un.
ego. But if I'm being honest with you, I honestly don't feel, just given where we are right now in the political space from a legal standpoint, I think his ego gotten too involved and he went too big. I think
Mm-hmm.
he if he would have played smaller hands, he would have done much more damage. Well, not much more damage. He could have done less damage, but he would have had a better chance to become a dictator. But he went real heavy on his hands, and that's gonna cost him. I legitimately feel that he's gonna go to prison.
I do as well. I mean, I think after all the shit that he done and, January 6th, 2021 happened, I think it's about that time. His dumbass should have never led that type of rebellion, so to speak. And I hate to basically go all philosophical on you, but still, though, if it wasn't for that particular thing that happened, where you stormed the Capitol January 6th, 2021, everything would have been all peaceful and we would have probably been clamoring about, oh, what's Biden going to do in the second term? But it's not that easy, though.
No, I
I mean,
agree. Like I says, he's a wild boy. He's a wild boy. We got to deal with that.
hmm but yeah, going back to fighting now, when it comes down to what's next for you, I know you're saying you want to face Jake Shields after this Miletich fight, and it would be really cool if you were to fight him under Pride rules or under boxing rules where last man standing wins. But still, though, when you look at some of these influencer boxers these days who, like I basically stated before, are only fighting just for clout, just to make their names off themselves, or some of them, only a small percentage of them actually are making this a career outside of, doing OnlyFans and shit like that. Would you eventually see yourself getting into the influencer fighting space, or just say, nah, I'm not dealing with these fucking kids?
I mean, if the right opportunity comes up, of course, like I said, I'm a prize fighter at the end of the day. I fight for money, and if it's a fight that makes look, I day trade. Like I'm in the financial world every day. You know, when I'm not training, I'm trading stocks and shit. So for me, I'll be fine with that. You know, that's essentially what the game plan is. I get to refocus back on in financial markets in the world and get back to trading after this fight. But if an opportunity arises where, you know, again, it's very similar to this fight, making a lot of money, I got to jump on it because again, I love fighting, you know, and I feel that my skills, where they are right now, are still I can still compete, you know, at a high level. So if I can get an opportunity with some influencer boxing or some shit like that, of course I'm gonna jump on it.
Hmm, I see. And I would ask, you got any future opponents in mind? But again, you just mentioned Jake Shields. You're facing off against Pat Miletich. I mean, any future opponents,
I don't
they
have
would be.
anybody. If I'm being honest, I don't have anybody. I don't know really know what's going on in this space. I mean, I would love to even do like some local boxing here in Houston, or even
Mhm.
Texas. But I don't know if the purse would be, you know, worth putting in the effort of training. Like training is a serious thing. You know, getting ready, getting prepared for a fight is a big thing. I would love to box local. I love boxing. Like it's just fun for me. I would love to do that, but I don't know if it would make sense financially to just box at a local level. So I'm just go take some pictures. I enjoy doing that as well. So we'll just have to see what happens. But right now I'm focused on Pat Miletich. You know, I got him next week. And you know, like I said, Jake, if I can get that, if he stops being a coward and a pussy, maybe we can get
Hmm.
that lined up. But other than that, it's Pat right now, and then after that, it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, kind of think of it. I wouldn't say this as a joke. Maybe if you don't show, I mean, maybe if he don't show up, you could probably box me. It wouldn't make much of anything. I mean, just a little light sparring, but still, though,
Right.
still, though. Point of the matter is, some of these people, like a Jake Shields, need to be called out on the carpet to their bullshit. You know.
Right. Right.
Yeah. But still, though, a couple more questions and we're going to stop the interview. But still, though, when it comes down to the fight world and in your place in it, do you eventually see yourself hanging up the gloves and just switching back to full time camera work? Or do you think that you'll
Yeah.
never retire because of all the
No,
bullshit?
I've always been an outlier, man. Like the fighting is just I fight because I love it. Like I never had any intentions to look. I'm not going to be a paramilitary. I'm not going to be fighting at 57 years old. Um, I'm just doing it because I love doing it right now. And again, some cool little opportunity comes up, sure, I'm gonna jump on it. But for me, you know, this could be again if that pussy coward Jake Shields doesn't accept this offer that he already agreed to. This may be the last one. Who knows?
Hmm. So let's just say, in a perfect scenario, you beat Pat Miletich, which most likely that will happen. I mean, you beat Miletich and just hang up the gloves. That would be like you riding off into the sunset.
Yeah, I'm. You know, for me, I'm still going to be in the gym training. I have friends and teammates in the community who, again, I have a solid skill set can help them prepare. You know, even today, I'm in the gym with who I'm at Thug U earlier today with Rafion Stotts, who's Bellator champion, Adrian Yanez in the UFC. We have some other guys who fight on the Fury level in the gym as well. You know, we have some Muay Thai guys in the gym as well, and we're all in there making each other better. You know, every session. So it's not like I'm gonna be done. Like I may be done competing, but I love punching people in the face. Like it's a favorite of mine. And so I'm gonna do that until people are punching me more than I'm punching them. And right now, I'm punching them way more than they punching me.
Hmm. Now, I see. And I mean, come to think of it, you probably would return if any of these idiotic bums, bigots, and haters, as you say, would want to
Ah,
get some with
great
you.
call, great call back. Oh shit, I forgot about that. Great
Yes.
call back. Great call back. Yeah, man. You know, I have a lot of people locally who are in my DMs who say they want to fight. Oh, bro, you a bum. You suck at fighting. I'll whoop you ass. Fine, that's cool. If they've never shown up though. That's the only thing. These people who are in my DMs talking shit, they never show up. If they show up, then cool. Like I have some ideas. I haven't shared this in a while. I have some sort of content ideas where I'm going around like a bully beatdown kind of thing that I may bring out. I got people who talk shit, but they never show up. So if I got to do like a gym storm or something like that, dojo storming, hey, I guess I'm gonna be dojo storming. But again, it's got to make sense. I'm not doing this for free. Like I'm a prize fighter, so it got to make me some money.
I see. I mean, it's like Zero once said, when you doing good, so many people down with you. Even when you're doing nothing, they just hang around you. And I think the trolls are doing nothing but just hanging around you, knowing that they about to get let off.
I
But
think they're
still,
glad for punishment. I don't block any of them because I enjoy fucking with them. They think they're getting under my skin because they're like, bro, why are you talking to me? I was like, well, you messaged me. Like, what did you wanted to send me a message and I not respond? Like, no, like I'm gonna say some crazy shit to you and it's gonna piss you off. Like the point that they say something and then the shit that I say to them is so inflammatory that they have to respond because they're trying to get the win. But it's like you can't win at this game with me. Y'all don't have they're not smart enough to fuck with me. And so I just get to I know it's like punching little kids. That's essentially what this is. It's like me picking on like some dumb kids in school, but they're just dumb kids in school. And so I like punking and antagonizing these feckless thugs, man.
yeah, these feckless thugs, bigots, and haters. But still, though, point of the matter is, when it comes down to this fight, I mean, I know that there's plenty of shit that you want to say to Pat Miletich, but let's just say, weigh in Friday, October 13th or October 12th, whatever the hell that is, when the weigh-ins happen, and you standing there face to face, eye to eye with Pat Miletich, while all his MAGA thug fans are cheering him on, what would be the main thing that you would say to him as a way to say, hey, come take this ass whooping. Don't
Dude,
take it personally.
I've already said what I had to say to him at the press conference. You know, we faced off. I got to look into his eyes, whether he was still hungover from the DUI the morning of. I got to look in his eyes and see the glossiness in there. And if I'm being honest, I think I'm gonna see the same thing in face off. I don't he has no idea what he's getting himself into. I'm being honest. Like he still feels that he's like a 30-year-old Pat Miletich, and he's not. He's a 57-year-old Pat Miletich, and it's not the same person. And his pride is about to get him hurt.
Mm. I mean, it's like the old saying goes, pride comes before a fall, and you not intimidated by his bullshit in any way, shape, or form.
Not at all.
I mean, other than that, let me go ahead and put over the pay-per-view one more time, even though I didn't do it enough, but still, though. Cage Aggression 36, October 13th and 14th from the Davenport RiverCenter in Davenport, Iowa.
I'm fighting on the 14th. I'm fighting on the 14th, main event.
I know, but it's a doubleheader weekend, though. You can get your tickets at nitrotickets.com.ca, which stands for Caged Aggression in this case, and the event will be live worldwide on CagedAggressionEvents.com and CagedAggression.tv. Other than that, man, is there anything that you would like to say to the fans that are actually giving a damn about you, like myself, and that actually want to see you succeed?
No, I just appreciate everybody's support. Like I said, MMA is a very toxic space, full of white nationalists and these MAGA doofs. So to find people who are anti, white nationalism, there's a lot, but they're not really outspoken, just given what the environment is, and I fully understand it. But despite all of that, I appreciate everyone's support. And definitely tune in October 14th when I get this insurrectionist out of there.
Good point.